Welcome to TDC Today Show Toronto. I'm your host, Jay Stoyan. Thank you for tuning in today. We're very excited as this is our first week on Bell 5 TV. We want to thank Bell. We want to thank all the associates to bring us here. Wonderful. We're mainstream now. And again, this show is all about variety. So I think the first show we did our debut where I just outlined our platform, the opportunities we provide, the great associates we have in the support. Our second show I had on Dr. Peter Evans from the Cleveland Clinic down in the USA. Wonderful, wonderful interview, great insight, great information, great guy. You know, all of our healthcare workers, you got to take your hat off to them today. So I want to thank them. And today we're changing it up again. We're going to have music, all about music today. So we have a wonderful guest on. We have country sensation Jeff Orson, and he also has a real a great story attached to the community, attached to the health community, the Disability Channel. So stay tuned, and you'll be right back, and we're going to be entertained by Jeff Orson. Maybe we'll play a little bit of music. Stay tuned. We'll be right back with the Today Show.
All about inclusion and really giving everyone a fair say.
Welcome to the Today Show. This is our flagship show. I am Unstoppable Tracy.
I am Zach Damon.
It is a pleasure to be here. I am excited. What is up?
We have a great show today.
Jay Stoyan here for the Disability Channel, the world's only inclusive channel for and by persons with disabilities.
Get ready to be inspired, everyone.
We have people watching from all over the world, but also all over Ontario.
We also take a concerted attention in the veterans community.
In moments of stress and trauma, we can get a hold of ourselves.
To help make a difference for people with disabilities, to show people how to love themselves or their disability.
I appreciate it. I appreciate you guys having me, giving this platform for myself and other people with disabilities.
Thank you so much, folks, for joining us for this episode of the Disability Channel Detroit. Please tune in next time.
Welcome back. And on the show today, we have country musician sensation Jeff Orson. Jeff, thanks for being on the show today.
Oh, thanks for having me on, Jay. It is a total pleasure to see you almost in person.
Almost in person. This is second best. So, you know, you got to be flexible. Got to be flexible.
In these times, we certainly have to be flexible for sure.
Before we start, I want to say I love your shirt.
Thank you very much. I got it in Chicago. I played 2 shows there. This is pre-COVID. And a guy said, you don't look enough like a country and Western guy. And I took it to heart. So I went to this big, huge country store. There was thousands of them in there. I bought like 4 or 5 of them. Here's one of them.
That's great. I love country. I love country stories. I love the people who play. They just seem so Zen style, very friendly, laid back, very serious about their craft, like everybody is. I know everybody is, but just something about country. And it's funny, Jeff, that I'm a rock and roll guy. In my 20s, you put on country, you might as well just shoot me, And it's funny, my neighbor was an East Coaster, right? So he was a chef too, but he says, Jay, if you come to the house, we have country on and we have old country on.
I love old country.
I went, old country? You mean with the twang? He goes, yeah, all twang. All about, George and Garth and Hank Snow, all about those guys. I'm going, okay, I kind of like that. But he broke me in. He broke me in with Shania Twain and Alan Jackson and Randy Travis.
Yeah, great.
So, anyway, enough about me. Again, thanks for being on here. I'm just a country fan. So tell us a little about your story, Jeff. Tell us a little bit about yourself for our viewers.
Yeah, sure. I used to play music, grew up in Niagara Falls. I used to play music as a kid, picked up a guitar and stuff and played a couple small bands in high school and stuff, but never really thought I'd be talking to you on the Today Show about my new song going to radio. Never ever thought that at all. But anyway, sadly, I had a bout of colon cancer in 2014. And I really turned back to music to take my mind off of what could have been a pretty bad situation. And so I picked up the guitar and started writing some music just to take my mind off of whether I was going to live or not, because it takes quite a while before you find out the end result, as you know, with many cancers. And so fortunately, I lived, and when I was in the hospital, I had my guitar. And there was a lady there who worked in the hospital, and she said, I really like your music. You should go and play. And I thought, well, that's very nice, very kind to say, but I don't think that's in the cards. But strange story. Someone said you should go to an open mic. And who was the host? Chris Partland. Okay.
Wow.
Chris was running a songwriters night in Burlington. So I went and I played him a couple songs, and then we hit it off right away. And I said, look, I really like you to work producing a song, a record. And so he said, okay, he agreed. He thought maybe I was kind of crazy. But anyways, he said, okay, sure. And we did that. And then some strange things happened. I was at a Nashville songwriters night. And I met a couple of people there, Dave Woods and Dana Shrek, and we co-wrote a song together for a song that made it onto the radio called Won't Let Me Let Go. And Dana liked it so much, she said, I want you to come to Nashville and I want you to sing the demo. So I flew to Nashville, did the demo, recorded it there at the Baird Studios, came back, and next thing we knew, it was on the radio. And so that was 3 years ago. And next song I have coming out, I think, to be the 7th one that's gone out to radio. So, so in a nutshell, that's kind of my strange story about getting into country music at this stage in the game.
That's very inspiring. Very inspiring, Jeff. Thank you for sharing that. Like, that must have been amazing. So let me ask you 2 questions. Obviously, we got to talk about Chris. But before we get to Chris, how long was it between you sort of put the guitar down and picked it up then again?
30 years.
Wow. And why? Like, why did you wait 30 years? Just
honestly, Jay, I just didn't. I just had stopped playing music. I'd stopped listening to a lot of music. And country was. I grew up on country. My mom used to listen to WWOL out of New York State. We used to listen to the Grand Ole Opry, but when I was just a little kid, I just got busy with work and whatnot, and I just really never stayed in the entertainment business. But when you get sick and you're kind of looking at perhaps the end of your life, perhaps,
yeah,
your priorities change, and I said to myself, if I get out of this, I'm never going to waste another minute of my time. And I just picked up the guitar one day, started playing, started writing little songs, nothing you would ever record. And it just kind of grew from there. I think it was something to take my mind off of surgery and CT scans and cancer tests and all that stuff.
Do you recall when you were in the hospital bed or in the hospital when that moment was about picking up the guitar? Like, was there something that triggered your brain or something like that?
No. I'd started playing a little bit, before I had surgery. I'd started maybe 3 or 4 months before, and then the guitar just kind of maybe 6 months. The guitar kind of became my friend. You'd be sitting up at night alone, in the hospital or whatever, thinking, "Wow, how is this going to work out?" And you just and I just played it a lot. I just took it everywhere. I still take it everywhere with me if I'm.
That's great. That's great insight. No, that's great insight that you're sharing, because I think over these last 2 years with COVID, I think a lot of people have had to, or have wanted to, or have been forced to pick up a habit to try and take their mind off what's going on around in the world. Like for myself, I'm just like you. I just started playing guitar about 2 years ago, but I really started playing in September because I started to take lessons. So for a year and a half, I wasted just having fun, not knowing anything. So, but like you said, for me, it's now my go-to Zen sort of feeling. So I really appreciate that sharing. Why don't we take a quick break, and then we're going to come back, and I want to talk about Chris.
Sure.
And your connection with Chris.
Absolutely.
Okay, so stay tuned. On the show today, we have country musician Jeff Orson. We're talking all about his fabulous career, his attachment to our community, and how he overcome it, and lots to come. So stay tuned. You're watching the Today Show. I'm Jay Stoyan.
Are you currently on ODSP? If you're interested in social media marketing, TV production, podcasting, or getting off assistance, please contact Jay Stoyan at 647-339-6847 or Jay at thedisabilitychannel.ca. The Disability Channel, showcasing abilities.
Hi, this is Rocky Blyer, and you're watching the Disability Channel, showcasing abilities.
Welcome back. Okay, Jeff, let's get into now. I know with Chris Partland, Chris is such a fabulous guy, and obviously we all know that he's going through a tough time right now. But I want to talk about how Chris and Addin Ronnie, how they are giving back to the community and to fellow musicians. Can you share how much Chris meant to you in your career?
Sure. I mean, there's a video you can watch with Chris on it on YouTube. We did it a few years back. He sang backups on a couple of the songs. I think the biggest thing, first of all, he's a very lovely individual. I mean, has anyone anything bad to say about him ever? I don't think so. Okay. All right. So he's a very lovely guy. He's a very inclusive person. Whether you could play or you couldn't play or you couldn't do this, you couldn't do that. He never, ever criticized or anything like that. And I was new, playing in front of people, nervous, all those things. And always was positive, never gets down, always positive. And I think probably someone who made it, who was, one of the top adult contemporary acts there, along with Bon Jovi back in the late 80s and whatnot, and writing songs, Soul City and One Chance and things like that. There's a little bit of musical genius when you listen to those songs. I mean, that he did it. He and his brothers, they did it. They started as normal people and they did it, right? They toured with some big acts and played with Ronnie and all those things, that all his accolades. Okay. I think that really hadn't changed him at all. He has time for anybody, but I think when you have that type of a person with that caliber, who's done it, who can sing Bob Dylan songs, off the top of his head and sound beautiful. And Bob's one of his favorite artists, I know. So that's why I mention it. When you have that kind of person as a mentor for a while, it gives you a certain amount of confidence that, you're not out of your mind, and that you got to keep trying and you got to keep developing this craft, because you're certainly not there. But I think that's one of the amazing things with Chris is he's helped a lot of people. And he really did it himself. It's kind of like, I was almost there. It's like, no, dude. He was there. He was there. Yeah. You're bona fide. Okay. Yeah. There you go. Yeah.
Thanks for sharing that, Jeff. So why don't we turn it back to you, and why don't you, I think what we're going to do, if I can get my producer, because I'd like you to play a little bit of music for us. Sure. So maybe if I can just get my producer to give Jeff the screen solo, take me off for a couple minutes, and then we'll get back on. So why don't you take me off if we're possible, and Jeff's going to have the screen to himself and just pick a little bit of the song, and we'll just listen for a few minutes.
Sure.
Is that okay?
Great. Yeah.
Okay. So you start the process, and Chris, if you can just take me off the screen, if that's possible. I'm not even sure if that is, but maybe it's not. Maybe it's not. Maybe I got to stay on. That's okay. I can stay on. I'll just be quiet. Oh, he's trying to do it now.
This is a new one coming out. end of January, first couple weeks in February, and it's called Growing Up Country. I'll just do a bridge and a chorus or whatever, just to give you an idea about what the song's like, but it'll give you an idea anyways. How were we to know those golden days wouldn't last forever? None of us knew life undoubtedly would change. Time used to go so fast when we were all together. None of us knew life undoubtedly would change. And it's all just a memory. We were growing up country, living and breathing that small town growing up country. Ain't no explaining, it just felt right. Now I'm down for sitting all night, telling you what it was like to be growing up country. We were growing up country. We were growing up country. We were growing up country.
That was great, Jeff. Wow, that's wonderful. I love it. He even puts the word country in the song. Like,
yeah, you gotta. You know what? Most of them are kind of autobiographical. I grew up out in the country. I think the closest bus station was 2 miles away. There was no mall, so at the time, it was pretty rural living. So if you didn't entertain yourself, you were pretty bored.
You have a great voice, by the way.
Well, thanks so much.
You know, you reminded me of that song right away. Right away, it came to my head right away. Save a horse, ride a cowboy. That guy, who's that? Who sings that song? That's Brooks and no, not Brooks and Dunn. Who's that? That's Bob Big Rich. What's his name? Rich. What's their name?
I'm trying to think. I've had a blank.
Yeah, you know who I mean, though, right? Yeah. That your voice reminded me of that song.
Well, you know what? I'll take that as a compliment because
I know it's new country. I know that's kind of newish.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I like all country, and I've written a lot of traditional country songs as well. But if you're wanting to be on radio and appeal to obviously a mature audience, but some younger listeners, you kind of have to be in that genre of a newer sound. Exactly. So I kind of bridged the gap, hopefully, between the two.
So you're a songwriter.
Absolutely.
And you're a musician, so you got both the talents, you want to say. You can play and you can write and you can sing, so you're a triple threat.
Yeah, I guess. I just I really as I said when I was ill, I think that writing about the future and the past and whatnot, you get pretty retrospective on your life, and maybe that's how it works. So if there hadn't have been the writing, then I guess maybe it wouldn't have been therapeutic, if that makes any sense.
Is there one of the three you like the best? So do you like singing, writing, or performing? Like, I guess they're all tied together.
You know, I enjoy all different aspects. I like meeting people, so I like the performing part. And you go out to a festival. I remember the first festival I ever played. There was people sitting in the front audience, in the front seats, and I didn't know these people, I really didn't know them. And they seemed like they knew the lyrics to the songs. And so I couldn't believe this. And I thought, I think I'm imagining this. So after the set, I went down and obviously worked every seat and every person after the show. And they said, oh, no, we're from Barrie. We're from here. We heard you on YouTube. We heard you. We love your stuff. And we know all your songs. And I'm like, oh, wow, that was a moment. Like, that was pretty incredible, right? To have someone else. So that performance part and the feedback from the audience is pretty good. I think maybe the writing part is it's a little bit more solitude and a little bit more thinking involved. And they're kind of like word puzzles because some songs come very quickly and other songs take some time.
Hi, all. This is Mike Kessel. I'm the CEO of Cleveland Clinic Canada. And I wanted to thank Jay and the Disability Channel for all the great work they do. And I know they have a big fundraiser coming up on October 12th. this year. I wish them nothing but the best, and I'm thrilled to participate in the fundraiser. Thank you all. Take care.
Welcome back to the show. Thank you for tuning in today. What you're going to be doing is we're going to do part 2 of Wild Child Records with Jeff Orson. So stay tuned and you'll be watching part 2.